Welcome to the Art of Hitting channel. Today we have another behind the scenes in the dugout. Yes, sir. We got Audie Hollis from the Hollis Appraisal Team. We got him behind the scenes with a little clip about his long run, winning 7 out of 8 Florida Half Century State Championships, and why he lost in 2009.
Documentary, hell, they kind of what do you call it? Scripted the whole show based on some of the things they said. Speaking about that, how about that extra innings? That was kind of a dream of mine, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I said, yeah. And we had that one video that we're going to get out there where your daughters put it together.
Right.
And when I went back and looked at it, I laughed my ass off. And we're going to put that out there, and it is funny, right?
Oh yeah, no.
Tell us about some of the fun we had.
That was great. You know what the interesting thing about that was that on the way home after that tournament, that Ansley had come and filmed. Her and Audrey put that together in the music and put the whole thing together. But on the way home, she looked at me and she said, "Dad, I get it now."
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me.
And I'm like, "You get what, honey?" And she said, "I get why you do this. I mean, all of us were wondering, why does Dad go off and play these stupid tournaments and go all over the country and do all this?" And I'm like, she said, "Now I get it." She says, "Y'all have the most fun of anybody I've ever seen in that dugout. And the way y'all do when you go out to eat and everything." And she says, "Y'all are cutting the fool the whole time." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's the people. I mean, that's the camaraderie of it." I'm like, "I enjoy playing, but I can play here in town. But I enjoy this group of men, and I enjoy what we're doing and what we're accomplishing." And so after that, they were all in. And then they put that video together, and then the rest of the group, the other 4 kids involved, were like, "All right, we get it now. We see why you're doing this." Mm-hmm. Because from their standpoint, it was like, well, he's missing a birthday. And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm up in Milwaukee playing, so I'm not going to make this birthday."
But you're having fun on your birthday.
Yeah, and I'd make it worth their while too. But the flip side of it, but the flip side of it is, it was like I was telling them, when you commit to a team, and this is probably one of my pet peeves, if you commit to that team and here's our schedule, then fit your schedule around that, what you committed to, right? Hey, I realize funerals are going to come up, graduations are going to come up, marriages are going to come up, birthdays are going to come up, et cetera, et cetera. But you really have made a commitment to these other fellows on this
Playing them around the tournaments.
There you go. And that's what you need to do. Now that's, there are occasions where you're not going to make it. You're sick, you've had an operation, et cetera, et cetera. But when you've got 16 or 18 guys on the roster and you've only got 10 to show up at a national tournament, there's a problem there. And so you have to address those issues. And you asked me a little while ago, how were we able to build and go through the 50s as a dominant team? And the very real answer to that was every year we tried to bring in the best new 50-year-old that was eligible to play. And so somewhere in this northeast Florida area from Melbourne to Jacksonville, if there was a new stud, we had to pick him up. And we had to let the player that was our least best player on that team know that, hey, you're still on the team, but your playing time might be limited, and you make a decision whether you want to stay with us or whether you want to go play on another team.
Well, let me ask you this question. It's personal, and I want to get you in here, Dan. I know you're sitting there. I'm not giving you a lot of.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, think about it. While I'm talking here, think about something that's a burning question that you didn't ask because I'm running my mouth too much. But we were strong up until about, when I say we, the Hollis team was strong up until about 65 mm-hmm. when, and then it's kind of fallen off a little bit. Is it because you lost your top recruiter? Little personal question.
Yeah, well, that's part of it. I also think that after we had done what we had done, and then we went to the charity end of it and had done that,
lost focus a little.
It wasn't that much. It wasn't as meaningful. I mean, so now I'm in the 70s, all right, and now I'm sort of getting the fire back, all right. So I'm starting from scratch. Tony Vidola is a friend of mine, and he's helping me put together a team. He's my Ed Rose, all right. And
that's a good one to rely on, Big Tony.
Yeah, no, Tony's an excellent
the Italian
man.
stallion.
Yeah, and Tony won one of the world championships for us in Vegas one time when making an incredible catch in right field. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do, because I remember it very well, because if you remember the first game, he got us behind like 20. We were behind 12, 15 runs in the first game. We were heading for the bad problems.
Right.
And I stuck with his butt.
Yeah.
I remember that, and he caught the lad. The game was, if he misses that ball, they win the game.
Right.
Was it a tough catch?
Oh, unbelievable catch.
Yeah, he jumped
to run
over
it
the
down?
fence. Yeah,
Right
no,
over
not
it.
run it down, but he jumped up. Oh, the ball would have probably been out of the park. Basically,
Oh,
we got it on video. Actually, It's on the extra inning. All that buildup is not there, and the fact that he had a horrible tournament the first game.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually brought Mike Gaynor was there, and I had to put Mike Gaynor. He was only there as an extra. And, I stayed with Tony as long as I could, but I put him out there because what happens is when you lose your confidence, you lose some of your game. I mean, confidence is, you got to be confident in what you do, whether you're at bat or in the field, and he was losing his confidence. But I did it such that I never lost confidence in him, and I told him that. And then eventually you stay with a winner like Tony, and you're going to get what you get. You get a winning game. You got to catch that won the game, and that's the way athletes perform.
Yeah, and it's interesting here because if you look back at the guys that dominated when I was in my 20s and 30s, majority of those guys aren't playing anymore, right? I mean, there's the Cecil Whiteheads, who's still a fantastic player back then, still a fantastic player. But a lot of the big name players don't play anymore, and that's because their skills have eroded and they haven't stayed with it. And what I've seen in the 50s particularly, if you remember, Ed, we built the teams just around power. We didn't really care whether you could play defense or not. We were going to outscore you.
Well, you didn't. I did.
That's
But
right.
yeah, that was the Hollis motto. Give me the biggest guy who can find hit it the farthest.
Right.
We moderated that a little bit.
Yeah, but we aged. We had to, so we had to bring speed in. And then in the 60s, then it's half and half. You got to have power, but you got to have speed. Now I'm in the 70s. The interesting thing is your 140-pound, 5'8" player is more important than your 6'3", 240-pound player.
Because he can move?
Because he can move, he can run, he can play defense, he can field, he can run for the heavyset guy, right? And the heavyset guy is good for what? Catching, first base.
Catcher, third base, pitching, and catching, and AH.
Right. And then
Positions I very much hold.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, people will say, well, what position do you play? And I'm like, yeah. But really, that's what I've seen in the 70s is the outfielders are the most important people now because they can run down balls. And
Outfielders usually.
we used to have 4 of the top outfielders in 50 ball and 60 ball, but in 70 ball, you need 7. Because they will wear out because they're having to run for other people that are hurt, et cetera, et cetera. And if you play 7 games, they're dead tired.
Yeah.
So that's really important to have great outfield. Now, you're still going to have your good infielders, et cetera, but I find that the outfielders are the most important overall. Do you agree with that, Ed?
Yeah, well, I totally agree that your outfielders, and the older you get, is, I mean, I hear in the 80s you don't have many outfielders that can, move very well. And, I think they put an extra one out there or something. But, your middle, left center fielder, right center fielder, shortstop, and second baseman, and your pitcher, that's the key to your defense.
Right. If you can catch and still throw.
We had Mata, we had Monet, and who were the other outfielders? We had Mata, Monet. Why am I drawing a blank?
Little Jones out of Naples.
Jones. Oh, but Harold Jones. Oh, yeah. We call him Mini Mead.
Yeah. Great player.
Mike Walker, of course. Yeah, Mike Walker's not playing. You lose a lot of guys for a lot of different reasons. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, longevity is the name of the game. And, what's interesting is you can have a great player like Mike Monet and, super fast.
Got the best players, and you have.
In case you've never seen this clip, this is one of the first clips Audie and I ever put together.
We were number 1. beginning
That's
of the
because the clowns that you recruit don't show up. We hadn't had the same team 2 days in a freaking row.
year. You're in charge of that, not me.
Man, you don't point your bigger than me. Ah!
I don't want you to think that there's too much stress there, because actually we're good buddies, we're good friends. But that's part of our friendship, is the fact that our personalities sometimes butt heads.
You
You think I was gonna let
Well, I hope you enjoyed that little segment from behind the scenes in the dugout. Audie's full interview will be posted sometime in either November or late October. Look for it on Spotify. And please don't forget to hit subscribe, that red button below. It's free. Yes, sir, free. Hit subscribe.